Those who have fought in the war know that the map of hell may seem difficult. But in fact it is not simple at all. The pioneer must first climb the tower of the tower. Then sweep away the Air Force and British Royal Navy for a limited time. Then have to endure a battle from Russia's nuclear weapon piece. And finally receive a full-scale attack from the Army, Navy and British Air Force. If you are lucky enough to get through the first 4 maps. Congratulations. Next, you will have to face a map of hell that has never had a survivor. Thousands of miles in length. The difficulty can be compared to using your left foot to lift your right foot to fly to the sky. Pioneers not only have to face the power of the world's #1 army, but also have to endure the cruel winter wind. And when a pioneer takes 1 kilometer of land, the entire Chinese army will activate the passive skill. The number of troops increases by 2.000%. The morale increases by 800%. If the pioneer is Japan, this effect will be added twice, so that they understand in depth how each piece of land is a piece of blood. 10 million men, 10 million troops. However, when I won the prize in the map design competition, everyone laughed at me as a loser. Because I flew to the world with a low level of science and technology. The nuclear technology of all countries is still in the development stage. Lucky instead. People here are blessed by the gods. All players can receive the technology award by pioneering the map. These maps were created by a few creative people. So I immediately took out the game design system, grabbed my hand and created the normal map. The first map. The Iron Tower is still there. At the competition site, the judges looked at me with admiration. Exclaimed, "He is really romantic. A new designer in a job that dares to touch the map of the battlefield." Not to mention how much weight I have. The new designer of Japan has never been so romantic. The quality of our designers needs to be improved. However, I did not pay attention to the words of the experts, but focused all my mind on designing my own map. According to my progress, the big screen at the competition site also displayed my idea. In the picture, AV Grand aircraft carrier appears, surrounded by 10 destroyers and patrol ships forming a united fleet. This means that the India of the past has been perfectly reproduced in my map. The image moves. A green and white flag appears in the air. Below is a group of Indian soldiers in uniform. Tank crew, armored vehicle crew, artillery crew, transport crew. A series of operations through the screen. In the sky, the US F-35 squadron including Zulao Vunvit. At this time, in the last live stream room, there were also audiences who paid attention to my design. This guy is playing big. The size of this army, if put in the real world, also belongs to the top 3. This is the defensive side of the star map. Looking at the current situation, it is not easy to overcome this map. I don't know how big the attack side is. Looking at this scene, the audience in the live stream room talked about it. After I completed the layout of the Indian and French defense forces on the tower, the situation on both sides was clear. India has 1.4 million troops, while France has 400,000 troops. Many residents of the star map. India is the defensive side. France has to find a way to get as few enemies as possible. The forces on both sides are almost 1 million troops. It's too difficult. They don't know that the actual situation has been reversed. After that, I continued to lay out other countries. After a round of operations, dozens of countries appeared in the layout. However, many residents of the star map found that there was no country that I created like the real world. This action shocked many residents of the map. This guy is kidding. Just by the idea of creating such a complex country. His brain is a star database. However, there are also quite a few people who don't watch me. This is a view. The war layout is no longer hot. Creating so many sides like that. What is the point of playing the war? At this time, the image was transferred to an Indian man in black and yellow standing in front of the control device. Slowly pressing the button, the boom automatically split into 2 sides. A nuclear weapon in the form of a school of motion slowly revealed. A moment later, a loud sound was heard in the sky. The white light blinded the eyes. The nuclear weapon exploded at an altitude of 800 meters above the ground, creating a giant mushroom. Under the heat of the nuclear reaction, the smoke rose up in the thousands of meters around. The nuclear weapon was successfully tested. India officially entered the primeval period. Because the nuclear weapon of this world has not been developed, so I can only rely on the data provided by the system to simulate the experiment. At the same time, the nuclear weapon is also a critical condition to compete for the Nobel Prize. If there is no nuclear weapon, there is no right to compete for the Nobel Prize. So, this guy is doing a special effect in the star layout. The nuclear experiment is successful. All the audience are happy. The image of this nuclear experiment only appears in the spiritual layout. But so far no one has overcome it. So no one has received this technology. If you want to create in the layout, you have to have realistic data. Quickly sign up. Sign up. The angel has appeared. At the moment, I am still focusing on designing the layout, not knowing that my actions have caused a great outburst. As long as the layout passes the inspection, the player can come to play my layout. The more players, the higher the level of recognition. I will receive the more rewards and resources of the layout. I not only design the army of all countries, but also start creating the map. The names of the countries repeatedly appear in the layout. The creation of the layout gradually comes to an end. When more and more designers complete their layout, only I am left on the field to compete. This immediately attracts the attention of other designers. Oh my god, only the Indian army has 1.4 million people. This guy is going to launch a war. But is his data reliable? It won't just be a game, right? It's not very clear. I just got out of the layout design interview. This picture is too realistic. It's definitely not a movie, right? At this point, an expert stands up to speak. This is definitely a failed layout. A collapse. A collapse theory. Mr. Chung Xing Xing was the first to object. A kid who has never seen a nuclear weapon. How can he understand what I do? I've seen it. I don't pay much attention to them. The creation of a long layout for a day and a night. I have exhausted my mental stamina. Congratulations to the designer. Your tower layout has passed the inspection. Added keywords for you. War. Large scale. Hidden challenges. Many endings. The level of recognition of the tower layout. 100% rated S just got out of the tower layout system. I was immediately called by the president. Hugh Fong. Your tower layout has passed the inspection. What is the level of recognition? The head of the head officer is serious. If it doesn't pass the round of error, then the grand performance just now is also useless. I bowed my head. Passed. The level of recognition is not too low. The president took a long breath. It seems not very good. But at least it has passed the round of error. I do not intend to deceive the president. Just that my remaining tower layout has reached a surprising level of recognition. Which is 100%. This means that my layout, in terms of theory and idea, is perfect, has been fully recognized by God. In the game design system, I can see that the information of the tower is still there. Although there are no players at the moment, there is no hot and hidden storyboard. But I am full of hope for the future. As long as there is enough hot, my layout will be prominent in the weekly tournament. To increase the hotness of the game, I decided to be pessimistic to create new game elements, hoping to attract more players to experience the layout in the weekly tournament. At the same time, on the internet, the discussion about my layout is still very hot. Game streamers are also starting to test and evaluate these new layouts. Among them, streamer Dai Bok is a typical example. He attracts a large number of viewers with live stream content to test and evaluate new layouts. According to the audience's introduction, Dai Bok chose my remaining tower to test. Just in the game, he was stunned by the realism and scale of the battlefield. The details and realism of the game have exceeded his expectations. Really? My mother? Really? Dai Bok looked at the soldiers in the sky like autumn leaves falling down continuously. Following the footsteps of the soldiers. From the battlefield to the solid base. Then following the soldiers to the target warehouse. Dai Bok said he had never felt so tired. But in his heart, more tension and excitement. Looking at the warehouse. On the faces of the soldiers. It has been a long time since they showed their happy faces. They were going to break the wooden door to destroy the soldiers. A loud bang cut off the actions of the soldiers. The wooden door was broken from the inside. turning into pieces of dust flying from the inside. In front of the giant iron monster. The fake door also became as fragile as that. The metal chains clung to the ground, making a noise, staring at the soldiers. The iron monster was wrapped in a thick armor, looking from afar like an inviolable tyrant. The soldiers did not have time to run away. They were all staring at the dust under the chains. The fear was like a wave of heat that immediately spread all over the battlefield. Again, a loud gunshot. The fire was blazing. The sky was half red. Dai Bok was suddenly hit by a bullet and fell to the ground. His skull was empty, but behind the tank, the soldiers were still alive, forming a formation, hiding behind the tank to counterattack. However, the troops began to retreat. Only Dai Bok was left alone on the battlefield. From afar, 3 to 5 groups of enemies were coming with guns. Dai Bok was lying on the ground, with a gun in his hand, and he was fighting fiercely for the last time. The image suddenly changed. Dai Bok found himself sitting in the tank. Through the binoculars, he discovered the marks of the enemy tank. The gunner quickly loaded the bullet. He shot himself. A shot hit the enemy. The enemy tank was shot. A missile was fired. Then it exploded violently. However, not in a hurry. Their tank was targeted by the enemy plane. A missile flew. The screen immediately turned black. The image changed continuously. The character that Dai Bok played from the soldier to the driver. Then to the pilot. Every time he changed his role, Dai Bok felt the depth of the cruelty of war. Until the end, the nuclear explosion had turned the world into a sea of fire. Dai Bok seemed to wake up from a dream. Back to reality. At this time, he just woke up. His face was still in the game. And it was still being broadcast live. The story just now gave him experiences of different lives. Tactical simulation games. The number of views increased sharply. Connecting to the live stream. He saw the comments as fast as lightning. The viewer did not know when it increased to 80,000. Just a short game has attracted many people to watch. Dai Bok was so excited that his face turned red. In addition to some old games. It has been a long time since he has seen any such interesting game. Congratulations to the player for completing the story of the new soldier. Do you want to officially play the copy of the Iron Tower yet? What was just the opening? Dai Bok, a weird dreamer, was also shocked. He thought the story was over. Unexpectedly, there were more details waiting for him to discover. Oh my god, this game can also drive a tank. Another plane. Streamer. Hurry up and play. Streamer. Streamer. What kind of game is this? The last nuclear scene was so shocking. Streamer played all night. The comment covered the screen to keep up with the number of people watching. Dai Bok decided to continue playing. Brothers. Tonight except when I die. If not, even if Nak Hoang comes to me, I have to continue playing. The copy is loading. With the change of perspective, the screen gradually became an interface set with the world map as a foundation. Conquering the campaign. Goal. France. Location. Western Europe. Happy to choose your country as a representative. India. Advice for new people. China. Vietnam. Germany. Many options appear on the screen. That's great. You can choose as many countries as you like. Normal war games are all 1-5-1 modes. Only a few have multinational war modes. This mode is definitely not created by students. Dai Bok just played and commented. All his actions and words are monitored by netizens. When he tried to choose Japan, he found this option was banned. Oh, there are countries that can't be chosen anymore. Dai Bok found this game more and more interesting. He did as advised. Chose India as his original country. Comparison table of basic military data of the two sides appears on the screen. France. One of the Western Europe. Population. 70 million people. Army. 400,000 people. Area. 550,000 square kilometers. Military equipment includes 1.500 tanks. 7.000 armored vehicles. Navy. 3 aircraft carriers. 260 planes. Air Force. 540 planes. India. South Asian power. Population. 1.4 billion people. Army. 1.4 million people. Area. 2.980.000 square kilometers. Military equipment, 4.500 tanks, 6.000 armored vehicles, Army, Navy, 2 aircraft carriers, many other warships, Air Force, 800 Jaguar fighter jets. Netizens compare the data. No need to be surprised. India is ahead of France in population. This strategy can crush the opponent. Taipei was also shocked. The force he chose was so strong. Wanting to overcome the double-edged sword is not as easy as holding a hand. After officially entering the game, he found himself in the working room. The person standing in front of him is the Minister of Defense. Gordon, dear enemies, this is the secret plan of the Empire. Minister Gordon gave the document. Taipei glanced at the title of the document. He was shocked. In the heart of Taipei. No need to be surprised. This is not a plan to develop nuclear weapons. Cabinet has approved this plan. Just need to sign the name. The entire empire will do its best to study this ultimate power. At this time, Taipei realized that he was playing the hero in this game. He was thinking about the complexity of the plan. Just wondering about the meaning of the title. There are no 5 stronger countries than them. In the working room, Taipei pondered. A secret document lying quietly on the table. The content of the document is like opening a new chapter of the game. The words on the screen make Taipei's heart beat faster. Players, as national heroes, all your actions will affect the fate of the whole country. Be careful. Suddenly, a box of mission notifications popped up. The mission to eliminate the previous version of the criminal code. The light was bright. Mission suggestion. The right to study nuclear weapons. After 3 months, the country will hold nuclear weapons. If the player refuses, the opposing side in the country will be forced to promote the plan after 2 months. This game is too big. After a short thought, Taipei decided to accept the challenge. He felt an unprecedented responsibility and honor. Minister Gordon received the document. But he acted like a soldier and left. Taipei took a deep breath. He knew this decision would have a profound impact on the entire process of the game. He immediately began to carefully check the data and choices. To speed up the game, the designer even established a speed-up system. Very thoughtful, Taipei chose to speed up to 6 times. As time passed, Taipei gradually dominated the real world of this game. He followed the suggestions of the game and the advice of the netizens. Perform a series of actions, including planning a counterattack and investigating the information of other countries. However, just as Taipei thought that everything was under control, a phone call suddenly broke the peace. Dear Indian player, Mr. Taipei, please stop the plan to study nuclear weapons and sign the Non-Nuclear Weapons Study Prohibition Treaty. Otherwise, your country will face destruction. The loud voice from the other side shocked Taipei. From the moment he signed the name until just 2 hours ago, the country's top secret plan was revealed. As a player, he immediately felt terrified. Obviously, there was suspicion. Faced with the suspicion of the country's secrecy and France, Taipei refused to recover, decided to deploy a counterattack plan and investigate more deeply. However, the suspicions from the country's secrecy and France continued to rise, making Taipei feel pressure. At this moment, the system was announced. Congratulations to the Taipei player for achieving the punishment of the injury. Activated effect. All actions of India will be punished completely. Taipei was shocked by the sudden announcement. But this did not make him give up. It is impossible. Nuclear weapons are compulsory. You only need to endure 3 months. 1.4 billion people. Even if the world is a superpower, how can you not endure it? System announcement. The loud light plan was revealed by the country's secret spy. Warning. France sues you. Warning. At the same time, there are 4 countries suing you. The suing of the countries makes Taipei happy. The information spreads quickly, right? Congratulations to the Taipei player for achieving the punishment of the injury. Activated effect 2. Trade punishment. The country's global import output is reduced by 70%. Import output with France is reduced by 90%. Economic punishment. Closing of Indian financial assets abroad. Prohibiting major Indian transactions. If there is a trade conflict, The assets closed will be seized. Diplomatic punishment. Summon the ambassador to stay in India. Reducing diplomatic relations. France cuts diplomatic relations with India. Punishment of culture. Film, entertainment, literature, religion, being banned from spreading in other countries. Humanitarian punishment. Foreign employees are restricted from concentrating. Put on a special list. Those on this list are not allowed. A series of unexpected punishments makes Taipei stunned. But this proves the importance of researching nuclear weapons. Only when the research of nuclear weapons is successful can it not be controlled by the other party. Can it be stopped? After going deep into the story, Taipei understood that researching nuclear weapons does not have to have a large population. Long time is a certain success. Not only have to overcome difficulties in research, but also have to face the effects of external factors. Now it has fallen into a dilemma. Giving up is impossible, but the research of nuclear weapons must continue. Not only do fans want to see, but they also want to know the result after the nuclear weapon is successful. I used to watch the application for admission to NGO. I know that NGO not only has 5 members, but can have more. For many years, India has applied for admission 6 times, but have all been rejected. This is the official way of admission, and the unofficial way is through force. Put together, the first 5 members all get their position by blood. However, when Taipei released detailed information about NGO on the table, he seemed to fall into a pit of ice, not saying a word. At first, he thought that India that he controlled had extraordinary power. Even if it was not as good as NGO, it would not be too bad. But now, he has just understood the struggle between the two sides to what extent. Russia's territory is 5.5 times India. There is also a small line below. This country has the largest number of nuclear weapons in the world, estimated at about 7.000. And Russia is also nicknamed the Fighting Nation. It is said that 8-year-old children in this country have been able to use a gun. 20-year-old dared to solo with a gray bear. Looking at this information, Taipei was stunned. So, which designer designed this game? He continued to look at the information. In his mind, Russia is the strongest country in NGO. But after looking at the information of China, the US, he felt a little uneasy. This, at the same time facing NGO. There really is someone who can stand 3 months later. Taipei began to doubt life. At some point, Taipei calmed down, began to think. At this time, he forgot that he was broadcasting directly, completely immersed in the game. Maybe right from the beginning. I was wrong when I agreed to research nuclear weapons. Researching nuclear weapons, when fighting France, success can have a position in the lottery. Bring good luck to the children for 100 years. Failure will make the whole country retreat for at least 30 years. This is really a silver spoon for the whole country. Warning, warning. The French nuclear aircraft carrier fleet is moving towards our seaside. Players, be ready to deal with it. This sudden warning shocked Taipei. How is it possible? India, apart from not having nuclear weapons, is basically stronger than the other party. Why now they dare to take the initiative to attack? From comparing the initial data, everyone thinks this is an easy war game. But over time, people realize that everything is not that simple. The French initiative to attack surprised everyone. There are currently more than 2 months until the successful research of nuclear weapons. But the country he is controlling has fallen into a state of chaos. Now, Taipei is reviewing the previous international events. He suddenly discovered that in the acceleration mode, he missed an extremely important piece of information. Task suggestion. The journey of the empire. On the 10th day of nuclear weapons research, the player will automatically be considered as threatening the target by force. On the 20th day, the player will automatically be considered as having conquered the target. And now is the 25th day of the nuclear weapons research process. Taipei is only worried about the acceleration of time until the enemy has broken into the new house to launch an attack. The Indian Ministry of Defense is always ready to fight, but has not yet built an emergency response strategy. Although the situation is extremely bad now, the game continues. Hurry up, gather a meeting to discuss a response plan. It must be said that these NPC senators also have a little courage. The gun of the enemy has been pointed at the head. But the country is led by Taipei did not fall for that. All countermeasures are carried out in an orderly manner. Netizens all have the right opinion based on a strong country. This is not his own war. Unexpectedly, this copy even designed the weak people's hearts like that. Today is the first time Taipei has appeared in public since the war began. Taipei needs to use his passionate speech to stabilize the people's hearts. Thinking about the speeches of famous politicians in the real world, Taipei is excited to the point that his hands are sweating. As for the French army, he doesn't care much. Let's play. If you lose, play again. But the process must be enjoyed. If the opponent wants to hit, just hit. It's okay to be shy outside. In the game, you have to show your spirit. It's good enough. Taipei just thought. Just stepped on the speech under the support of the guards. Suddenly, a gunshot rang out to scare him. His chest suddenly ached. Taipei fell to the ground. His blood was red all over his shirt. In his mind, a man dressed in underwear was knocked down by the guards. His mother was assassinated. Until now, he still doesn't dare to believe it. The gunshot made the crowd panic. Ran away, shouted. The sound of the gunshot rang out. Taipei's mind gradually became blurry. Finally, the man raised the voice of the system. The game ended. As the leader of the country, first, you have to protect your own safety. Do not let the enemy have any chance. Not more than 500 points. Summarize the events in the term. Signed the nuclear weapon research agreement. Revealed by the spy. Been severely punished. War with France. Attacked by hackers. People's spirits were weakened. Assassinated. After going through a series of events, Taipei understood more about this game. Unfortunately, this game is real. He did not expect the game could be played like that. Although he lost the first time. But cannot believe this is really due to a design student in the round of stars. He looked at the copy data. The current number of players 10.654 people. Arrange your current points. First. What? More than 10.000 players. I only got 11 points. But I'm still at the top of the list. Everyone has played a lot of children's copies. This high difficulty copy directly killed most of the players. Now, in the livestream room, a lot of people are complaining. They also did not expect that the failure of the game was due to the people's spirits. Finally, his own people assassinated. Streamer, you are too chicken. I thought there would be a world war. I have to say, this game is too interesting. Can't stand it anymore. I also have to try a new game. Don't be in a hurry. Let the streamer try again. Maybe next time will be better. Streamer, play again. Streamer drank water while thinking about the previous copy. He didn't even notice that the number of viewers in the livestream room was up to 200.000. In his heart, he was thinking about each step after playing again. After a while, he entered the game. The copy started. He entered the game again. History still records the failure of the previous copy and the achievements achieved. Achievement progress. 2%. The punishment of the reward received a reward of 2.000 achievement points. Achievement points can be used to buy technology in the game. Streamer blinked. What cannot be beaten can still be given to players. With the reward of technology, he became more confident in this game. Happy to choose a country. Taipei still chose India. Dear Taipei players, this is the country's top secret plan. Just sign the name. The whole country will do its best to study this supreme power. The familiar story reappears, but this time, Taipei did not hurry to sign the name. He has gained experience from the last time. I will carefully consider the right to study. Recently, I found that the behavior of the Defense Ministry staff is a bit unusual. I suspect that the Defense Ministry has been infiltrated by the enemy. I give the order. All officials must be carefully investigated. Must find the spies of other countries. Before launching the research plan, it is necessary to eliminate potential threats. Minister Gokdal spoke face to face, ensuring the completion of the mission. All Indians immediately entered the state of self-examination. Announcement. Rebellious actions are carried out by your actions. The production of the research plan was revealed to be reduced by 90%. The difficulty of the spy activity increased by 80%. Announcement. The prolonged investigation will reduce the people's feelings. Taipei has gained experience from the last time. This time, I really care about the people's feelings. As long as there is a little dissatisfaction, I will immediately fix it. Last time, the people's feelings collapsed and led to riots. Finally, he was assassinated by his own people. That bloody image is still engraved in his mind. After that, he opened the toy store, looked at the products. Tank team, 40 points of achievement. Armored helicopter team, 50 points of achievement. Rafale fighter plane, 80 points of achievement. Nuclear weapons technology, 1.500 points of achievement. Information, 1.000 points of achievement. Oil, coal, food, 500 points of achievement. Use the system once, 1.000 points of achievement. After going through a series, Taipei's eyes stopped at nuclear weapons technology. Thinking for a long time, he still decided to switch to nuclear weapons technology. With this technology, the research time of nuclear weapons can be shortened by 20 days. The remaining 500 points of achievement. He switched to food. Before the toy store, the trade sanctions were terrible. Keeping food is necessary to stabilize the people's hearts. He had to stock up on food before being punished. In the following week, the anti-espionage campaign was a great success. He found no less spies from other countries from different departments. Even 5 congressmen were arrested. Even the chef of Taipei in the game was bought by another country. This image shocked Taipei, and made him more confident in this toy store. Launch a plan to study nuclear weapons. Time to play quickly to the 19th day. Tomorrow is the time to fight with France. At this time, India, whether it is a military or military strategy, are all ready to fight with France. Taipei has hidden itself for many days. Now, without waiting for the automatic system to decide, he decided to take the initiative to fight. People flock to heaven, not thousands and thousands of years of fighting. The main mission is activated. The tower is still difficult. Challenge. Conditions to win. Take Paris before France surrenders. Suggestion. France has nuclear weapons. If the challenger does not occupy Paris in time, France will give you some nuclear bombs. The risk of the player being killed is extremely high. Taipei did not expect that taking the initiative to fight again to get the main mission. Suddenly at the right time, Taipei focused on the suggestion. The main mission shows that he only needs to complete the appropriate conditions to win in the game. Before that, he had guessed how to win in the game. Conquer all of France. Just kidding. Although the French population is not much, but the ability to conquer is completely small. Even if it takes a long time, other countries will certainly not turn their backs. Especially Russia. Their strength, Taipei has been witnessed. If they support France in terms of military, perhaps the next moment will turn into a battle to protect the capital of India. Just hope that during the attack on France, Russia does not invade. The suggestion system appears. The next direction of the game is clear. So the next step is to focus on the main mission. Try to get past the copy. In the live stream room, the comments of the netizens never stop appearing. Streamer, you've been insisting for so long. If you don't stop, I'll ignore it. Fight. But the streamer also has to be careful. Don't repeat the mistake of the last time. The streamer just attacked directly. Take over Paris is fine. Who dares to speak up? Taipei was excited. Did not say any more words. India immediately stepped into a state of level 1 combat readiness. The entire country was mobilized. A few days later, the population decreased. The Indian population has decreased by 74%. Everything is in the forecast. This time, Taipei can be said to have won. But just now, Minister Gordon stepped in with a serious face. Head, there's a story. Our communication information system is being attacked by hackers from another country. Information about our next move has been completely blocked. At the same time, in front of Taipei, the system's announcement appeared. Your country is being attacked by hackers. All communication devices are forced to stop operating. What is the military's plan? Due to the loss of communication, most of your orders will not be able to be carried out. Need to be transmitted manually. Taipei is terrified. Look at the problem. Forgot about the security of information technology. It's this cyber attack again. The little things that are usually not noticed sometimes can surprise you. It can also be a fear. Taipei once again realized the weakness of India. The other party has more advanced technology. Just let the hacker attack is able to break down the entire communication information system of the whole country. Now in wartime, the consequences of losing serious communication to some extent. Just thinking about it is disappointing. Put the bag on the chair. Look bored. Feel like you've come back to before. Facing the hacker. He feels helpless. Now want to restore communication can only rely on the technician. But clearly, India's technology is far behind the other party. Announcement. Due to the system of information, the whole country is being attacked. The people are decreasing rapidly. People in some areas began to appear confused. The BTAC show was reenacted once again. Wait until the people's hearts are down to the point of freezing. I'm sure I'll be assassinated again. Unexpectedly, a cyber attack directly reversed the situation. The streamer was confused. Is there any solution? Negative suppression. Try to keep the people's hearts from collapsing. Avoid the risk of assassination. Looking at the comments of the netizens, Taipei was slightly disheartened. I thought I could easily win this time. But in the blink of an eye, it has gradually become a pandemic. First, let those NPC MPs think of a way. A country cannot rely solely on me. Hearing other people's opinions is a bit of a waste. The people's hearts continue to decrease. Taipei is extremely disheartened. The cabinet quickly gave the result. Taipei quickly opened the cabinet's proposal. Proposal 1. Suppress by force before treating the virus. Turn off all networks and carry out military management, while suppressing possible riots that may occur among the people. Proposal 2. The player directly talks to the people across the country via live stream, using language art to win the hearts of the people. This proposal is extremely risky, but if successful, it will be able to win the hearts of the people in a significant way. System announcement. Taipei players have activated a special event. The player will have the opportunity to talk to the people across the country. If the player accepts, the information system will be restored temporarily. Taipei did not hesitate. Immediately agreed. The worst situation has already happened. What could be worse? It's just a conversation with the people. What if it's assassinated again? Image changes. Taipei steps on stage. He looks up. Below is the sea of people. There is no empty space. Taipei can even see the faces of each person. Everyone is staring at him, just hoping to get an explanation. Taipei's eyes gradually calm down. After 2 deep breaths, he slowly opens his mouth and says, "Dear fellow Indians, recently, there has been a lot of rumors about me in the country. Just because I gave the order to carry out a counter-espionage campaign. Caught 3 corrupt MPs. So I was bullied by the enemy forces. The enemy's spies have invaded our territory with the intention of destroying the country. I was forced to give the order to attack the headquarters. Some people asked why I was fighting with France. We tried our best to enhance national strength, develop nuclear weapons, but we were constantly threatened by France, so that we would no longer be controlled by the mercenaries, so that our children could raise their heads. I can only fight. They are the villains. Volume C first. What's wrong with us? I know among the people present here there are also spies. They have evil intentions, want to assassinate me, but behind me is the whole country. Whether it's safe or not, I have to stand up." Suddenly, bang! A gunshot rang out. The scene was immediately chaotic. But 3 seconds later, no one was injured. The people were immediately angry. It turned out that there were really spies here. On the other hand, Minister Gordon looked emotionless, took out his gun. The gunshot just now was created by him. The purpose was to create a climax for the speech of Taipei. Clearly very effective. The acting talent of this Indian brother is certainly not moderate. At this time, a system notification rang out. The special dialogue event with the people was completed. Evaluated. Excellent. The people were moved by your speech. Your people's heart has been improved and has been united in a short time. People's hearts are 90% now. Successful. I have succeeded. The enemy is not only unsuccessful in sharing people's hearts, but also makes me have more people's hearts. Reverse the situation. Bored, covered in sweat, The image is too real. Every word he says is under a lot of pressure. Luckily there is a smart NPC. This event has helped Taipei understand more about the game. The game should be like that. Not just the mindless pleasure. But there must be a deep meaning in it. A speech has reversed the situation. Taipei has added a group of loyal supporters on the original base. He was excited to jump up. Due to his excellent acting skills, the technician can fix the communication equipment faster. In the live stream room, the residents saw this scene all bleeding. The streamer was great. Has solved the difficult problem. Reversed the situation. Has anyone seen the streamer change his temperament? No longer weak, or as cowardly as before. As if he had become a different person. This game has such great magic power. I have to try a new game later. Streamer, what should I do next? I have taken out the notebook. Taipei, calm down. Enjoy all these things. So strange culture. Strange architecture. Deeper understanding will be able to find a lot of information. This is really a game designed by a designer in a spiral. Really unbelievable. Now, the secretary brought a war report. Made him panicked. The fleet of this country was in contact with the enemy. Lost 19 fighter planes. 1 warship was destroyed. 3 other warships were damaged at different levels. But the enemy was no worse. 1 out of 3 fleets were damaged. Compared the data. Both sides did not take advantage. The initial inspection caused a loss. Taipei did not care much about military. Everything was handed over to the Ministry of Defense to handle. In addition to India, the French fleet with the aircraft carrier made the center of tens of thousands of nautical miles. The aircraft fought in a circle in the air. Both sides were standing still. The broken side standing still in front of the ship. They were in a state of emergency when Taipei was drawing attention in the dialogue with the people to launch an attack. The war was not as terrible as the war on the ground. But when the enemy plane came up, the image of the artillery not shooting continuously still shocked people. Taipei tried to pull the screen. The shell on the wing of the aircraft did not stop flying. The people became crowded, making people look scared. The fighter plane fell in the air. The black smoke was swirling. It sank into the sea in a quiet way. No one cared. Everyone just cared about the result. The combat effect of this game was great. I felt this firepower. I got goosebumps all over. It was a bit cruel. It was just there. In the real world, which version of Ist overcome is not by blood. It is said that Minghai has a new version of God. Plus 6 more versions in Minghai that have not yet been conquered. Don't worry. There is also a weekly tournament. I've been following this designer. +1, +1, +1, +1. Looking at the people talking on the internet. Taipei has adjusted its attitude. Full of confidence. Since being punished until now. Half of the story seems to be over. No matter how difficult it is. He has overcome it. Next is when to compare strength. On this side, Taipei has never been afraid. System announcement. Your nuclear weapons research institute was attacked to the point of destruction. 100% no one survived. The attack caused an experimental explosion, leading to the loss of a large amount of experimental data. Your scientists are dead. The research plan has to stop. 3 consecutive announcements appeared like a fistfight, making Taipei tremble. Hard to believe. He used his uncle's perspective to observe the institute. This place has become a pile of rubble. After the explosion, there was only moss and dust in the air. Taipei's face was numb. His body was shaking. The situation was clearly developing in a good direction. Why did the problem happen? It's because he's incompetent. The nuclear weapons research scientists have sacrificed, losing the confidence to challenge the 57.5% score. Taipei was in a trance for a long time. After the explosion, he began to think again. The score was higher than last time. But the failure made him not expect it. The institute was attacked. The enemy can set up a spy in the cabinet. He must have known the location of the institute early on. As soon as he gave up his research, he would be attacked by the enemy. How did he get over it? Taipei was very disheartened. He began to copy the board again. Unlike last time, this time, he aimed at attacking and collecting information. The experience from the last 2 games helped him understand the game. If he wanted to get over this board, he must have been attacked hundreds of times. In this game, Taipei was completely to collect information. The weekly board design competition is coming up. He can get more attention due to the opportunity of the player to find guidance. In the game, he still chose India like 2 times before. Taipei opened his eyes. Gordon was standing in front of him. Hanghai talked about the future. He opened the game store. In the comments, some fans want to see how the official guide looks like. Taipei thought it was impossible to get over it just by collecting more information. If it's the same, he should buy the official guide. The system will give a plan to respond to my love for the board. He only has 2.000 points. Once he lost 1.000 points. I want to see how he can sell so much. Taipei was a little sad. He put his hope to get over the board in the system's guide. The system announced that the game started. He was happy to refuse the review of nuclear weapons. He began to arrange it in 20 days and spent the money to buy weapons from the US. He explained that in the context of the game, India was the 9th. The population was crowded, and the spies of other countries were everywhere. All his actions were monitored by the enemy. The review was a trap to avoid being punished. He was happy not to start the plan to study nuclear weapons. The arrangement of 20 days could help him develop quickly. Buying strong weapons could help him win the war in the process of punishment. Taipei was happy. He did not expect that. As the suggestion said, the review was a big trap. The first player who joined the review would definitely want to see the nuclear scene explode successfully. This is the trap of the designer. It's like starting the hell system right from the beginning. You want to get over it. At first, the enemy only has France. But through the review, your enemy will be the whole world. As for buying weapons, Taipei did not expect that. Just follow the instructions. Taipei accepted the plan. I will consider it carefully. Gordon nodded and left. Taipei turned his head, tore up the plan. Taipei waited until the 19th and opened the store again to buy the official instructions. This is to collect information and take the information as the owner. Play as long as possible. Note after many days of preparation, you are ready to attack France. The enemy's technology is excellent. You can buy US weapons. Mission: take the enemy's capital. Note this is a fierce war. If you miss the opportunity, you will be destroyed by France. Mobilize millions of troops. It means attack. Taipei took a deep breath. The amount of information this time is very large. At first, he thought he would continue to hide his new development for a long time. But the official instructions immediately attacked. Taipei studied carefully the goal of crossing the map. Finally, he also understood. Taipei laughed. It turned out to be so. This game is a fierce war. The designer always creates traps to drag time. If you want to cross the map, you only have one word. Fast. Break the enemy's defense before they surrender. Quickly occupy the key cities of France. This is almost like saying to the player that the opponent cannot defeat you in a direct battle. You just need to sacrifice a little more life. Think about it. Taipei regained his spirit. In the world, it certainly can't do that. But this is just a copy for fun. Just fight. In the live stream room, the residents were also attracted by the suggestion. It turned out so simple. You just need to follow the instructions to be able to cross. Anyone can say it later. If you don't look at the system's instructions, who would have expected it to be so difficult? Knowing how to do one thing. How to command specifically is another story. The focus is to occupy the key cities before the opponent surrenders. But the situation on the battlefield changes in a blink of an eye. If the command is not good, the world will be defeated. A few days have passed since I released the Thief Tower copy. To prepare for the weekly tournament, I have been pessimistic for a few days. Designing another survival game based on the previous one. Busy with creativity. I haven't had time to look at the data of the Thief Tower for a few days. I opened my personal information sheet. The Thief Tower copy still has the current number of players 56.480. The hotness is 61. Exploration is 29%. I blinked. I can't believe it. Unexpectedly, in just a few days, the hotness has reached 61, which is completely in line with the system's requirements to activate the next copy. At this point, a notification pops up. Congratulations. The hotness of the game has exceeded 50. Reward. A new copy. Congratulations. You have received the English copy. The Thief Tower of the Sea. A familiar voice pops up in my ear. In my head, a picture appears. On the vast sea, a huge British aircraft carrier is coming from afar.